How is Upper Darby unique?
Upper Darby is unique due to the diversity in Upper Darby. Upper Darby is a refugee hub, so in the high school, at least 72 different languages are spoken in the school district. And that's part of the uniqueness of Upper Darby, is how diverse and how culturally diverse and heritage diverse, religion diversity. I bought my house there because of the diversity. I wanted to make sure that I lived in a neighborhood that, you know, there were people from a variety of cultures and backgrounds that lived there. So Upper Darby, I think, has one of the highest populations as a township. We're at like 83,000 people, and at least 30,000, don't quote me on the exact numbers, but at least 30,000 of them are refugees that are on the path to citizenship.
And that's something that attracted you to Upper Darby?
Yes, definitely.
Does the Township Council reflect this diversity?
No.
What do you think can be done to better represent such a diverse community?
Well, I think people need to have the freedom to register for whatever party they belong to, they want to belong to. There's a certain unwritten rule in Upper Darby Township that in order to work for Upper Darby Township, you must be registered Republican, which is a tad bit illegal. And then you have to work up the Republican food chain or have a friend that's empowered in order to get a job in the township, which is also a tad bit illegal. It's one of the things we want to get rid of, the friends and family plan. We want to make sure that people are getting jobs because they're qualified to get the jobs, and that they're, you know, that you don't have to be related or in a political party in order to get a job, that you're getting it because of your qualifications.
When you say friends and family plan, what do you mean?
I mean, from my understanding, you have to be related or friends with someone already in power in order to get a job, or you have to be a member of the Republican Party and work up the food chain of the Republican Party in order to get a job within the township.
What would you change if you were elected to office?
I would make that go away. I think people need to get jobs because of their qualifications. The relationship shouldn't have anything to do with working on the job, you know, getting a job within the township. It should be about you are qualified to do the job. I think, and it's also one of the things that happens is that everyone gets a paid day off on election day. Taxpayer money pays for their day off, and then they go and work the polls to push the Republican ticket. I mean, I can't imagine how it's justified to use taxpayer money to pay people for a day off and then push one party's ticket.
Describe your family background.
So I was raised by a lawyer and a psychologist, so not only can I present a case on anything I might want, but I can analyze on why I should have it. So that being said, my father's a Republican, and so I was raised in a Republican household. I've worked the polls since I was really little. I've helped to count the votes. Mickey Mouse has been written into every single election, as far as I'm aware, in every township. Mickey Mouse is very common. Everyone likes to vote for him. So from my father, I was empowered by the concept of everyone has the right to vote, regardless of political party. Everyone should vote. Everyone who is a citizen should vote, because that is where your voice is. And so that was one of the things that my father instilled in me. When I was younger, I was part of the Young Republicans, and I led a Republican dinner with the Pledge of Allegiance. I didn't really know a whole lot about the Republican Party, but that was just the party I was raised in. When I was a teenager, a friend of mine said, "Laura, I'm not so sure about whether or not you're really a Republican." I was like, "Well, what do you mean?" She's like, "Well, here, let me give you a test." So she gives me this test, and she's asking me questions about issues and what my values are, and and turned out I'm a Democrat. That's my mother's side. My mother's a hardcore feminist, the first feminist I had ever met, and she always talked about going to protests and rallies, fighting for women's reproductive rights and the right for women to do whatever they want to do. And that came from my mom. So between the two, I was raised in a Republican household, but my values were more of a Democrat.
So you changed your registration?
I did. When I bought my house, within a year or two of buying the house in Upper Darby, I registered as a Democrat, went and vote. I went to vote a couple of doors down behind a house in my neighborhood, and I didn't realize that when I was going to vote in every election, every spring and every fall, that my vote didn't really mean anything, that Democrats weren't actually winning the elections, that they weren't able to win because of the makeup of Upper Darby at the time.
So at the time, there was a strong Republican domination.
Yes.
Growing up, we're talking about.
Well, I mean, since I bought my house in 2004, I didn't realize in that first 10 years that nothing was really being accomplished. Like, you know, at least in the local elections, that no one I was voting for, except for Margot Davidson. She was the first one that I had voted for that I saw that she actually won. So that was really cool.
So you were, since 2004, just to make sure our viewers understand, you were voting Democrat and Republicans were sweeping elections.
Right, right.